ke nna Motamma Horatius. Motamma Horatius go tswa go Lowene ke itsewe ke le Motamma Sesinyi. I grew up as a driven young girl. I don't know where I got it from really, but I always stood out. But I would first like to thank my teacher a rona bogologolo. Ka gore ke bona ba nentse ba nna ba re supa mo classeng, ha go te debate, ha go te mabonte, ha so ra be le wena no ithaopa, a be le bona ba ne ba re supa. But kante they were grooming us for public speaking, for being responsible at a young age. So go goleng ga mene ke gata bo mabonte. So go no go toela go ya mahapela ga batho. And o toela gore go ska ga libiwa your physique o pasa ka karabo e o e hang. After karabo o pasa ka di project tse o di irang to impact in people's lives from bo primary go telebo junior till senior. Still ne ke sa thophi go nna monitress or prefect, ne ke nna head girl mo sekolong. And la ha ke thophile go nna head girl, I was not just your ordinary student. I would ask teachers, head teachers, for can I address students during assemblies. Every time during assembly, I would have topics. Through tertiary, I was very active. And people may wonder who tileng for a hella on meal allowance, separate book allowance, option. I led a movement that advocated for that. Or was just a lump sum. But the reason why I didn't run to become an SRC president, I would get, hey, the way I'm vocal, cutting, and I never leave things lying down. So let me just advocate from behind the scenes, push the movement. I did BSc in agriculture, and fortunately enough, because I always go into territories whereby women seldom go. In Botswana, when you pursue science as a tertiary, it's a grant. And I also went further and completed my coursework in masters in agricultural engineering, but majoring in land use planning. Then fast forward to my life, just being Motamma. From a very young age, I knew I wanted to go into politics. I was exposed to the environment at a very young age. When I was 16 years old, I just went on a protest. They're like, Mosola hore ke ire o mang ke le 16 ke mixa le telo re ke thope. Gote me ke na le tshwanelo. Ke tswa go ira o mang ke bona hore ga gona gore ke ta irang cause how I apply for tertiary o tshwantse ra botsenya o mang wa gago. 2009 ho ya nka ke ho duhala mo motseng wa me ke nna mo go one. I decided I want to run ke le nose, but I sat and asked myself, who am I? Ga ke tsana mo mothong ke re ke kopa thopo ya gago. O to ipotsa gore a nthopheleng. So instead of gore ke bolelle batho gore nka ira se, let me apply myself and just be who I am and live my vision and my dream. So I went into pageantry, just being Miss World Tourism Botswana. I made headlines. I went to become a tourism ambassador all the way go Asia, leading the pack, advocating for my country. And when I was Miss World Tourism Botswana and a tourism ambassador, I've impacted a very high level, continent-wise, because I me when I zoom, zone down, that's when I went even into Big Brother Africa. Because Big Brother Africa, increase my network base. To broaden even my thinking spectrum. I was invited to Kwara State, it's a state in the southern side, Nigeria, to advocate for those we are given stationery. Re itse gore re kgona go reela re kante dibuka di kae, but mo mahatsheng a mangwe ke dilo tse di sa itseweng. So up until ke nna an advisor for the governor of Kwara State, so ke bona gore mme ke bua everything se leng gore se tsamaisa Botswana sentle, and people are admiring us gongwe gongwe ko reng o ka teng. And that's when ke bona gore okay, now I've arrived, I've gained all the confidence, I've branded myself, I've impacted to the extent of being honored as a goodwill ambassador. Why not go back home now and go straight into active politics? Upon coming back to Botswana, I was able to run successfully and become the only female chairperson for Gaborone Bonington North constituency. And Hagele chairperson, I think, I go on, there's a vacuum. Before Parliament, there's ward, and ward you driven from ground up. So that is when I decided, okay, before even running for council, let me go into the national structure. That's when I made it into the National Youth Executive Committee of the ruling party. And that is campaigning in 57 constituencies for Ntope, so that I can be able to impart knowledge with the youth of Botswana. So I think from that vast experience of campaigning from 57 constituencies, it wasn't quite much in a ward, because the ward I really just that single big and cell. So the reason why I went into local government, it is because I wanted to be directly in touch with the ground and operate like 5 principles, that is self-reliance, I'm into pro-development, into empowerment, into inclusiveness. Yes. And how do you break it down? How to say it? O nonotsha motho gore le wena o na le maatla a go itirela bontle. O tsaya le ene motho e leng gore you are custodian of the ward, o mo rutuntsha sengwe le sengwe tsamaiso go diragala eng. You bridge the gap between a leader or a politician and a resident. Ke created an open door policy so that when I advocate for them in local government, I'm speaking about things that I really heard, not just from one person, from all the house to houses. And again, how women in leadership, we are nowhere really to be found. We lead in numbers, but we are nowhere to be found. So that prompted me further to run for office, so that I can represent the marginalized group that is being women. And again, I'm youth. Youth, we constitute more than 60% of the population of Botswana. We face more challenges. We are the era whereby education is not the key to success or doesn't guarantee you employment. So we are the transitional age group. So whom do we expect to make decisions for us when we are not there in the decision-making booth? So that is why I again ran for office, so that I can represent also the marginalized group that is being youth. So I hit the ground running because I knew that the reason why we seldom see or find women in leadership, or we seldom see or find youth in leadership, it is because people doubt us. They say, so that is why I hit the ground running, delivery after delivery, so that I leave a legacy, not for me, but for upcoming generations. We are perceived to be weak, but again, we are perceived to be too frank. That is sometimes why we are left out. But I guess they're warming up. They're warming up to us. We just need to take up space. The people who lead in majority, in lower structures, cell, branch, it is women. So those activists need to say no. In all the names, where are women? When primaries come, people who vote in numbers are still women. They are the ones who are supposed to say, no, there's a vacuum. People need to understand that voting doesn't stop with general elections. Even after you are voted, post-general elections, when you go into office, they're still voting. So if maybe, for example, in council, we are 8 women and 28 men, and you are supposed to caucus with your fellow gender, you are 8. You are already overpowered. In parliament, it's 4 women and 53 men. You are expected to caucus with your fellow gender. You're already overpowered. So it boils down to the public and to women activists and to NGOs supporting women in leadership. We have to be hearing them, advocating for us. Even Ditshwanelo, I hear Ditshwanelo when there's an execution. But what about women's rights? I never hear them question and say, there's an imbalance, not just in politics, in every organization. It needs a wholesome approach so that we can be able to inspire upcoming generations for women to take up space. At least how thou advocate la maternal deaths or thou advocate la there's postnatal depression. Are men going to understand that? They say yes, they're married, they say they have got daughters and wives, but you as a woman, you know what happens when you go through hormonal imbalances. Who goes to jail? Ha gote ngwana o neglectile. Ke mang yo postiwang gote o tlogetse ngwana a ba thathelwa? It's a woman. Na mo dirile rre. Gore re dire melao ya teng e siameng, mongwe le mongwe a take full ownership go bata bomme ba le bantsi. Or straight go e leng gore ba tsaya ditshwetso teng. God willingly, with all the vast experience, because I've been moving from one level to the next, but it was with a purpose, because I don't just lead, I like to learn so that I make informed decisions. So you see, I was just into civic leadership. Then I went into office, local government. So when I'm in local government, I'm constantly learning and seeing the hiccups that prevent a smooth running from central government to local to the people. So I'm learning. So with all this information, it will be quite beneficial, not just to who, but directly to the people, going into central government from all this experience from local government. So yes, God willingly, I would like to run for parliament someday, and God willingly, run a ministry. My background is in agriculture. My background is in the creative industries. And now my background is in local government. So I can head the Ministry of Local Government, and I'll do exceptionally well because in council, I'm the finance chair. Finance chair, it means the whole budget of the city, 30 wards. And I'm also the performance monitoring chair. Performance monitoring chair means chairing the whole 30 wards, each and every project that are done in the city, be it in Pakalani, be it in White City, Old Naledi or Block 5. So with all this information, I'm also in the executive committee, whereby we really know how council is run, all the obstacles, why we are here, why we are not where we want to be. So going also, God willingly, becoming the member of parliament, then minister of local government, I'll be able to bring a positive change and to enable councils to run smoothly. And if I go into becoming a minister for youth, MySec, with this vast experience, not just advocating, but being right in the middle of the entertainment industry, it means I know why, as a country, our celebrities cannot feed and sustain themselves, or artists. And artists doesn't just mean people who act or sing. It's a whole group, graphic designers. I was in there, so I know what's the problem. I know how to advocate for it. Then agriculture. I studied it and know that agriculture is a science. And as a science, it means that it's not a retirement home. That's why we are not solving and feeding ourselves. We are not solving our food security issues. So going in there and knowing that the scientists produced in BCO Buan, those are my aspirations. And eventually, having initially being a tourism ambassador, advocating and marketing Botswana in a continental level with all the countries. I'd love to be an ambassador one day. Unfortunately, I've never had a mentor, especially in the political arena. I think there's still that vacuum, but I'm working on mentoring people. That is why even when I was a chairperson for youth, just a chairperson for a constituency, I organized a leadership forum that empowers young leaders. So trying to impart knowledge to them and show them that even if you are in politics, you have to be knowledgeable about every single thing and research and love reading, because everything is hidden in black and white. Because people waste time debating about things that are already there on paper, it's just that they don't read. So I was trying to groom others, because in that seminar or workshop that I was training young leaders, I brought forth people from MySec, I brought forth people who are leading in the creative industries, people who are leading in entrepreneurship but being youth. I even brought ministers from the political arm, so that these people can impart knowledge to this aspiring young leaders. So I can see that there's a vacuum. As a woman, I'm not learning, or no one has adopted me and opted to train me. But I'm thankful for NGOs towards going for elections. During election year, people were really active. Gender Leaks was active. Emma Basadi was active. And at one point, Women's Wing even gave us little, they fundraised and gave us money to buy airtime and try and, just go on with logistics. So, but just on one-on-one basis, when you are there and you want to go into politics, there's that vacuum. It's lurking. So just you by yourself, you just look at people from a distance, take a little bit from everyone what you like, make your own researches. Even if you contact them, you tell them, I like you, I look up to you, but you still give yourself information how they navigated. So I'm thankful for the journey I'm on, and I think I'll be that solution to the upcoming. Even my post on social media, you can see that I'm talking to the upcoming. I'm talking to the aspiring. That, okay, this is what I'm doing. Do it if you want to come on board. Be legit, because politics is something else. There's also the spiritual part, because you are talking to someone and there's something you can't pretend about. People will know if you're telling the truth, being genuine or not. The biggest shock when I got into council was that we advocate everything that a Motswana wants and says, we cover. And it is done. It is there on paper. But for things to come to you or developments to come to you, it is a solid combination of the political arm and administrative arm. So we are the advocating ones, and the administrative arm, they are the ones who went to school to bring forth or to bring to life whatever project. You get all the answers you've been answering before, you've been asking before you got into office. And then you realize, oh, we are working 110%. But things happen. When it rains and cables mix with water, the lights go off. When there's potholes, the tender has long been awarded, then people are the ones who won't accept. It's like everyone from every category or fraternity, everyone is affected by the bug of not accepting results. So even people who tender, there are 200, each and every one of them, they want to win, but there has to be one person. So if you appeal, it goes to courts, Emia Motswana is going to suffer. Your car is going to suffer when it takes years. People debating it at court, and still the winner emerges, the winner being legit. So you realize that development stall. Another shocker would be that I learned the hard way that voting doesn't stop with general elections. When you go into office, for you to attain a certain position, we still vote. To form an agenda for the full council, we still vote for topics to go, which topics to go in. So we need more women to be voted in. Because as I highlighted earlier, if you are 8 and men are 28, are all men pro-women? If you are 4 and men are 53, are all men pro-women? And this runs across everywhere. Even opposition parties, they have in their constitutions that they want 30% representation of women, 50% representation of women. But when primary elections come, people don't care. They want to go into office and women are nowhere. And just another thing, just running for office, you have to have your own income so that you can be an independent thinker and speak your mind and really be for the people to deliver. Because if you don't have an income, whoever will be financing you, who knows who's going to control you? So women have to have money so that you can have confidence, so that people don't take advantage of you. Hey, sustain a campaign team house the Ward Development Committee I have, it's all women. And I've held even more engagements to empower women and youth. So it shows that when women assume position, it is not only about infrastructural development, but we target socioeconomic issues, because we know the pain that if you have a child and you do not have a caretaker or your family is not supportive, you cannot rise. So when we assume power, we directly impact on people's lives so that they can rise above their circumstances.